New York Giants head coach search continues. Should have clarity by the week's end. It's going to be day ball. Talk a little Jets. My all-time favorite Jet, Wayne Krabet. Love number 80.
That's great.
I love number 80. He's going to join. Is Berrios the next? Funny thing is we talk about Berrios and Krabet. Berrios is just faster.
Yeah.
But Krabet was a beast. So we'll talk some Jets with Wayne. And some optimism on baseball's labor front. Tiki, how are you today, buddy?
Fantastic. And
Tiki.
I had a busy night last night, BT, watching my Virginia Cavaliers, watched a little bit of the Rangers, but also caught a lot of the Knicks last night. And look, coming into this game against the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road, it's the start of a pretty extensive road trip for the Knicks. I wasn't expecting them to win. I just wanted to see them play well. And it got to the point where coming back from 15 in the fourth quarter, I'm trying to steal wins in my mind. I'm like, the Knicks can steal this win. They come all the way back. They get it even. They get to the point where all you need is a play. Give me a shot maker. I need someone to make a shot. And the two plays that they drew up, one with, 15 seconds left and one with 1.2 seconds left, both left so much to be desired. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I was upset, BT, with the players and their lack of execution and not knowing what to do in that moment, or Tom Thibodeau for coming up with something that just felt. And so I understand they weren't supposed to win this game, but they should have won this game, which is what makes it so much more frustrating and watching it, especially because Lauri Markkanen was not playing, nor was Jared Allen. So two of the biggest parts of their success so far this season weren't on the court last night.
That's true. You know what I get frustrated, Teague? I get frustrated when I go to hit 120 golf balls, and no matter what I do, no matter what I watch on YouTube, no matter what lesson I take, no matter how I change the grip and the plane of the swing, I hosel a few. That's frustrating. You know what's actually, it's infuriating. You know what's no longer frustrating for me?
What's that?
I'm going to surprise you with this take.
Go ahead.
The Knicks. Because I'm used to it, and I'm almost numb to it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's the same old story every night. Starters stink. Second unit comes in, injects something into the game. They cut into the lead, or they take the lead. And then when it's time to cut the nut and execute late, they scramble. They get these half-ass shots off because they don't have a true point guard. And that's the bottom line. So, I was doing the St. John Seton Hall game last night, so I came back, I watched the highlights, and obviously followed the game and got into it more this morning. Cam Reddish, not a second, doesn't play. Now, you and I were talking about this before the show. And this isn't to disparage these guys, but, and forget about Randall being traded. That was my take last week, and it's my take until he's gone, because I don't believe in Julius Randle. I've given up on him because, quite frankly, he gave up on New York, all right? He gave up on us. Get rid of Burks. He'll help somebody. You don't think Burks can help the Lakers? Get rid of Kemba. All due respect, New York kid. I need to see the kids play, because there's 34, 35 games to go. They're not going anywhere. They're below 500. They've got a better chance in the lottery than they do making the playoffs. They're not even in the play-in right now. They've lost 4 or 5. They're going to Miami next game. They're going to play the Bucks after that. Then from February 5th through the 12th, at the Lakers, at the Jazz, at the Nuggets, at the Warriors, at Portland. Where is this season going?
That's not
so. Why would I be mad? I expect this from the Knicks team, that sucks.
It's not mad. It's more disappointed because not the home team, because they were the away team, but you know what I mean. Our guys had a chance to beat a very good.
Did you say our?
Our guys. I'm claiming them, BT.
Claiming the Knicks over here.
Claiming the Knicks for the
not the Nets
for the short term.
No. Wait. Short term.
I'm claiming the Knicks for the short term.
That's not. No. What do you mean short term?
Until I can think otherwise, I am claiming the Knicks.
That's not acceptable. I do appreciate the fact.
I have both? We're not going back to this.
No,
again.
You're definitely not having the Knicks and the Nets. I do respect the fact that you're claiming them while we were in the toilet. It's not like we've won 9 of 10 and Tiki's hopping in.
Here's what it is. Here's what it is, BT. I want them to win. I want them to play well.
So do I. Not more than me.
I want to see some stardom emerge in some capacity.
Yep.
And as much as I love where RJ Barrett is, 24 points last night. He's 5 of 10 from the stripe.
Yep.
He just can't. And
he wasn't good his first year from the free throw line.
It's not literally the game, but it is kind of literally the game.
Yeah.
When you miss 5 freebies.
They're a horrendous free throw shooting team.
They have been, and he's been really bad the last 15 games or so. It's like 68% or something like that. He's just been bad. So, like, I love what I'm seeing at times. I hate how the execution gets at the end of the game. And in this one in particular, it was frustrating because they did such a good job with Darius Garland, who's a stud. He's a star. We know he
That's why
he
Sexton's going to be gone once he's healthy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He had 13 points, and for one shot, which was a dagger really for this Cleveland Cavaliers squad over the Knicks, he gets free on an offensive rebound, gets pump fakes.
Mobley got that rebound, right? The one in the corner where he kicked
rebound.
Yeah.
He kicks it to the wing to Darius Garland. He pump fakes. R.J. Barrett comes flying. He scoots down to the corner. R.J. Barrett somehow recovers and gets there contested a little bit,
as he usually does. Let's give Barrett credit with that.
But he drills it. And as soon as that bucket went in, that's when you felt despondent. Like the Knicks aren't going to have an answer.
I have no when the Knicks have to set up a shot.
An answer.
I have zero confidence it's going to look pretty smooth, that it's going to be well run. Now, let's extrapolate. Is that on Phibbs?
Yes.
Partially.
Yes.
Is that on Leon Rose for not having a true point guard? Partially, sure. I mean, what do you expect when you give the ball to R.J. Barrett and again, good player, but to self-create? And Randall to just chuck up a heave from 38 feet. What do you expect?
No, you're right.
What do you expect?
But it's still frustrating. You know what I mean? Because you watch this game, and the Knicks could have and probably should have won.
I don't know. I mean, yes and no. I mean, watching every game this year, really, ironically, except last night because I was working. I'm not. Frustration comes from the expectation that things will be good, which is why I told you the golf analogy. When I get out of my car at my golf course, I'm like, today's the day I'm going to finally hit the golf ball straight. And then I suck, and I'm frustrated. But I'm not really frustrated. I'm not happy, but frustration to me is if I flip the Knicks on and I suddenly expect Kemba Walker to have bounce, or Barrett to have a real tight handle, or Randall to wake up out of his coma, or Phibbs to do a good job, or, name 7 or a myriad other things that we need to happen that usually don't happen enough for the New York Knicks to win.
So last week I asked you a question. What do you expect out of this Knicks team? So at this point, what do we expect?
What, you ask me this every week?
No, now we're pushing for the lottery. Now we care about getting the top.
With the 8th overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft.
So what are you watching for?
The Knicks select another stiff.
So what are you watching for? You're watching to be disappointed? You've come to expect it at this point?
I watch because I love them. And they're in my soul. That's why I watch. And I always hope deep down it's going to get better.
How am I emotionally affected by this and you're not? You know what I mean?
Well, first of all, I've been beaten down to a bloody pulp with this franchise. You have not been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're in the first round of the fight. I'm in round 15 and my legs are wobbly and I'm bleeding from every orifice. That's the difference, buddy. I mean, if you want to really cut it down to the nut, I don't know what to tell anybody. They are really, really poorly constructed. They just are, Tiki.
Yeah, they are. And
poorly constructed.
And I don't want to say, I don't want to put this all on Coach Thibodeau, but the execution, whether it's defensive rotations, where they're doubling, when there's 2 seconds left on the shot clock and giving up an open three-pointer to Kevin Love. Kevin Love, who's a shell of what he used to be, has 20 points, and he knocked down
6 threes, I think it was.
6 of 12.
Welcome back to 2011, Tiki, where Kevin Love's the star again.
My point, how is Kevin Love allowed to attempt 12 three-pointers? It's not like he's beating you off the dribble and sidestepping you, pump faking and sidestepping you.
That's all he's doing.
That's
he's just waving his hand outside the three-point stripe.
And so you overcommit to double with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. You leave Kevin Love wide open to catch and shoot. He's going to drill that every single time, and he shoots 50% from three-point range. So it's those little things. And so I can understand if you're just worse than the team that you're playing. And on paper, they are.
Yeah, Cavs are pretty good. We know that.
And Cavs have been one of the surprises of this NBA season this year. So on paper, they are better than the Knicks. But without Jared Allen and Markin, and as we just mentioned, they played up to par. In fact, they were down 15 twice in this game, and they kept finding ways. The Knicks kept finding ways to come back. But when it came down to the little things, like leaving a guy unguarded or allowing Darius Garland to scoot his way into the corner for a dagger three-pointer, or execution on offense, or finding a shot in the moment when you have to win a basketball game, the Knicks just can't do. And, I mean, who's that on? Is it on the players? Is it on the coaches? I said this last week, BT. At some point, you got to start blaming the coach.
Yeah, you did.
We keep pushing it on the players, but they look unprepared. They look unprepared defensively, and certainly in those last two possessions, they didn't. I mean, Julius Randle had to be told you can go in the backcourt.
I'm done with Julius Randle.
Julius, you can go in the backcourt. I know that. I've never played basketball in my life. Right?
Yeah, some dope cut you and Rondé in the 4th grade. I always joke around about that.
But still, my point is,
cut you and Rondé. How is this guy coach?
But how do you not know that? I mean, part of that to me is on Julius, but it's also got to be on the coaching staff.
Yes, listen, you're right. And those are two distinctly different things. There is inherent awareness. There is inherent basketball IQ.
Yes.
And then there are things that you learn.
Yes.
Now, I hear you on Phibbs, dude. He's had a bad year. I graded him out at about a C- the other day. And the irony, too, is you talk about the Cavs being a good team, and we know that. Mm-hmm. The Cavs are the Knicks last year.
Yeah.
Except their pieces are much more sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, Mobley. Garland. Yep. I know marketing's banged up, but we really like Jared Allen. We remember him from the Nets days when he got punked by Embiid in the playoff series against the Sixers, and he came back and he, a little bit better, incrementally better. Cavaliers are good.
Yep.
And Teak, welcome. Like, I'm not even trying to be facetious here. Welcome to my world, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's built. So this is what I laugh about. Like, you are now getting a real, and you're just, this is our 3rd week at the Fan. You are just getting a sense of what this is all about.
Yeah.
Because when we were doing, I know nobody cares about the national show at this point. Neither do we. It's just a point of reference. I get that. But all those years, 9 years, you and I were doing this national show, and I would have to pick my spots where I could drag in the Knicks or the Jets or whatever was bothering me about my teams, our teams. And you're like, look at this idiot. Like, he actually gets worked up about the Knicks. Now you know why.
I do know why.
Now you watch him every night, and you know the game of basketball, and you're seeing this slop, and it's not going to change.
Nope.
They're going nowhere. Period. Going nowhere. All right, 877-337-6666. Al, Keyport, first up on the Fan. What's up, Al?
What's happening? It's Thibodeau. I've been saying it since last year, the Atlanta series. Mm-hmm. For a defensive guy, they suck. and the offense, in the end there, no play, no nothing.
No play.
And Randall has no moves at all. No, I called 2 weeks ago. No moves at all. He don't know how to fake nobody. No nothing. He couldn't. It was just terrible. What happened? The whole thing. If they had another coach, they'd be over 500, guaranteed. Like the coach of Atlanta, McMillan, if he was coaching the Knicks, they'd be over 500. It's all Thibodeau.
Yeah,
that's what I think. He let Trae Young run ragged on them last year.
Yeah, he really did. Trae Young had his way with them last year. But you know what? You mentioned that last play, or actually it was the penultimate play. The heave from Randall was the last play, but the penultimate play, I mean, it felt like it was simply let's inbound the ball to Julius Randle, and then he'll figure it out. Instead, he pounds the basketball into the court for 5 seconds, tries to draw. I don't know what he was actually trying to do, draw the double team. He turns into the lane, ends up getting cut off, so he's got to kick it out to R.J. Barrett, who's kind of stuck in no man's land. So he launches up a 25-footer, and you just knew it wasn't going in.
Of course it's not.
It wasn't a play. It was just kind of like
desperation.
But it was. You call a timeout.
Yeah.
Phibbs
said he should have taken it to the rim. He said that post game.
Okay. But
and the funny thing is, R.J. Barrett said before he heard what Phibbs said, he's like, "Yeah, I got to my spot. I got a great shot." And then Phibbs spoke first.
Yes.
And they asked RJ about that shot, and he gave his thoughts as to what went down. He said, "I love the shot.
Yeah,
I'll do it 1,000 times out of 1,000."
Look, it was an open shot.
Yeah, but then the reporter's like, "Yeah, but Phibbs said it wasn't a good shot." He's like, "I got to look at the tape, see if I'm right." So he's even. I love Barrett. He's such a good. He's the least of their problems. He's like one of the only answers.
I don't fault RJ Barrett because I felt like RJ Barrett was just he was stuck in no man's land. Julius Randle's just pounding the rock, and he's just standing there waiting. He's just pounding the rock. Rajon Rondo is checking him, is guarding R.J. Barrett, right? So Julius Randle's just pounding the rock. He kicks it to R.J. Barrett, and R.J. Barrett, I think instinctively, because all these young kids want to be the hero, like they want to take that last-second three-pointer that knocks it down and wins the game, when the play was to drive and score the easy bucket on Rajon Rondo.
What Thibs said.
That's what Thibs said. I understand. I'm not necessarily fault R.J. Barrett because it was a clean look. I mean, if Rajon Rondo is guarding you and you're 25 feet away from the basket, it is kind of an open shot. But he hadn't shot well from three-point range, so it's like what? Why take that shot? Why not take the easy one? So it just felt like poorly executed.
Can I make a point here that really needs to be made? And remember, we had Keith Hernandez on the show the other day, right? And before that, we were messing around having the Mattingly-Hernandez debate. We even asked Keith about it. If you guys want to go check it out on our YouTube page, you gave a great answer, youtube.com/WFAN. It was awesome for all those Hernandez or baseball fans, right? And you go back to those Yankees teams of the 80s where there was no wild card and Toronto always kept winning the division.
Yeah.
They were, and the Yankees won basically 90 games every year, and they hit the crap out of it. They just couldn't pitch, right? We look back now, and we kind of knew it then, but their failure was a lack of pitching. Very obvious. Well, the problem with the Knicks, and there is a correlation to their yearly failures, they need to find a point guard. I am so tired of watching this slop. I mean, we had 3 weeks of Jeremy Lin. We had Mark Jackson for a couple of years. We had Derek Harper for a minute. I'm sure I'm missing one or two guys. Marbury, who was more concerned taking 30 shots himself than setting anybody up. And that's about it. And I'm being a little facetious. I'm sure I'm missing one or two guys. We never have a point guard. And why do these plays look scattered? Why does Randle not know what to do? Why does Barrett not know? Because they don't have a point guard to initiate the offense like every good team has. They gotta find a point guard. We can sit here and talk about the coach and Leon Rose and James Dolan's been good this year. He's actually been out of the equation, which is good.
He's been invisible.
He's been invisible, which is what we just cut the checks and let the basketball people do their job. But find a point guard. The game is exponentially tougher without one. Get a guy who can create and not a guy who's got one knee and no cartilage like Kemba Walker anymore. That's the problem. So I just solved it for the Knicks. Jesus. Find somebody who can dribble.
That's the passion I've been looking for, BT.
I mean, this is unacceptable.
You said you were okay with this loss. I knew you were pissed off about it. I just had to pull it out of you.
You know me so well. I didn't even know that you were doing that to me. This guy.
Because that's how I felt, BT.
That's dirty that you pulled that out of me like that, Bob. I didn't think I was going there.
BT,
but it's true.
They're down a bucket. Julius Randle doesn't know he can go in the backcourt to accept the inbound pass. They're down a bucket. They get it. They get another opportunity at it. Julius Randle pounds the thing. He pounds the rocks in the salt. Right. He's just pounding it. He kicks it to R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett needs a bucket, not a 3-pointer. He needs a bucket. Rajon Rondo is guarding him. Take his ass to the hole.
Yep.
Score a bucket.
Yep.
Right? Instead, he shoots a 3-pointer. They miss it. They have to go down. They get one of two on the other side. They have 1.2 seconds now, and you're going to inbound it to, guess who? Julius Randle again, who's going to throw up a weak 40-footer like it had a shot. It's just poor execution, poor planning all the way around. And I know we hate how this team is constructed, but, geez, the coaching can make up for some of these things at times. Draw up a play that's going to work. You need a 2. You don't need a 3. You need a bucket. Draw up a play that gets you a bucket, not kicking it out to Julius Randle at the 3-point line and seeing what he's going to do with it.
877-337-6666.